You open Nik Color Efex for the first time and there are 63 filters staring back at you. 63! Where do you even start? Most people spend weeks trying to figure that out. I'm going to save you all that time right now, because after editing with Nik Collection for a while, I use the same 4 filters on almost every single image. And today, I'm gonna show you exactly what they are and how I use them start to finish. Let's get into it. Looking at this image, the first thing I notice is that the mountain layers don't have much separation. The foreground, it's also a little flat. There's nothing technically wrong with the raw file, it just needs a little help. So let's add Pro Contrast. The first slider is correct contrast. For this image, I'm setting it around 22%. This is a traditional contrast adjustment. It makes the dark tones a little darker and the light tones a little lighter, giving the image a strong tonal foundation. Next is dynamic contrast. This is really the most important slider in this filter. I'm setting it around 27%. Watch the distant mountains as I increase it. Notice how they begin separating from each other. The foreground rocks also gain a little more definition, and the whole image starts feeling much deeper. Unlike a regular contrast adjustment, dynamic contrast works on the midtones, so I bring out the detail without crushing the shadows or blowing the highlights. Finally, correct color cast. I'm only using around 12% here. The color balance, it's already very good, so this is just a subtle cleanup. Now look at the image as a whole. The colors become cleaner, the contrast feels more natural, and everything gains little more depth. The important thing here is that nothing suddenly looks edited. It simply looks better. That's why Pro Contrast, it's always my starting point. Every adjustment that follows builds on this foundation. Once the image is balanced, I can start thinking about atmosphere. This is where the new color grading filter comes in. The first thing I'm gonna do is reset the filter. By default, Color Efex already applied its own color grading, but I rather build the look myself. Color grading isn't about making colors stronger, it's about guiding the viewer's eye and reinforcing the mood of the scene. In this image, the warm light naturally draws your attention towards the rocky ridge, while the cooler mountain shadows help create depth. So I'll warm the highlights, cool the shadows, and leave everything else fairly neutral. These are very small adjustments, but they completely change the mood of the image. Good color grading shouldn't announce itself, it should simply make the photograph feel more believable. Let's compare before and after. The difference isn't dramatic, but the light feels more natural, and everything works together much better. Next, tonal contrast. By default, Color Efex already applies quite a strong tonal contrast effect. For this photograph, it's simply too much. So instead of adding more, I'm going to bring everything back significantly. Let's start with the highlights. I'm reducing this from 25 down to around 10%. That keeps the brighter areas looking much more natural. Next, the midtones. The default here is 50%, which is quite aggressive. I'm bringing this right down to around 18%. That keeps all the texture without making the rocks look crunchy. Now for the shadows. I'm reducing this from 25 down to around 13%. That dials back the texture in the darker areas, keeping the shadows clean and smooth rather than overworked. Finally, I reduce saturation from 20 down to around 6%. Just enough to stop the colors becoming overpowering. Now look at the rocky trail, the cliff edges, the mountain faces. There's still plenty of texture, but now it feels natural. That's exactly what I want. I'm not trying to create texture, I'm simply stopping the default effect from becoming too strong. The final filter I use is Detail Extractor. And despite its name, I don't think this is a sharpening filter. I think of it as a finishing touch. Again, by default, Color Efex already applies Detail Extractor at 25%. For this image, it's just a little stronger than I'd like. Rather than applying it across the whole image, I'm using an AI mask, so the adjustment only affects the rocky ridge and the foreground. That keeps the distant mountains soft and preserves the atmosphere in the sky. The first adjustment is the main Detail Extractor slider. I'm reducing it from 25 down to around 11%. That's enough to keep the texture without making the rocks look gritty. I'm leaving contrast at 6% because the default already works well for this image. The same goes for saturation. I'm leaving that at 6% too. Let's take a look at the finished result. No single filter completely transformed this image. Instead, each one solved a different problem. Pro Contrast built a stronger foundation. Color grading created atmosphere, Tonal Contrast added depth, and Detail Extractor finished the image. None of the adjustments were extreme, but together they created a photograph that feels richer, cleaner, and much more balanced. Nik Color Efex is packed with powerful filters, but you don't need to learn all of them at once. If you master these 4, you already have a workflow that works on the vast majority of photographs. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.